After traveling by bus from Mandalay to Sagaing, we visited a silversmith shop and saw skilled tradesmen at work. We also visited a silkware factory where the age difference between the workers surprised us. Our final stop of the day was the Yubane Bridge, which has been here for 2 centuries. This long and rickety teak bridge crosses the shallow Tongthamen Lake. During the dry season, it crosses dry land, but during the wet season, water rises to the upper deck on which we walked. It is the longest teak bridge in the world. These owls were for sale to be released. Our morning was spent exploring Ava, another capital of a former Burmese kingdom. We stopped for this picture of a royal barge made of teak wood. A short ferry ride brought us to this peaceful area, which we explored by pony cart. Our driver told us about his family, which was interesting. We are on our way to the Mae Nu Ok Kwang Monastery. This brick monastery is a fine specimen of its class in Burmese masonry and architecture. Built in 1822, it was damaged by an earthquake in 1838, and in 1872 was restored. We climbed to the top for a view of the surrounding area. We took these pictures of local people. Our group stopped in an open field to admire this colorful kapok tree with its red flowers in bloom. In this area are the remains of the Yadanasimi temple. Our final stop was at the wooden Bagayat monastery. We were impressed by this brick-based outhouse. After another pony ride and a short ferry trip, we again boarded our coach en route to lunch, with a few stops for pictures on our way. An early morning 30-minute flight brought us to Heiho and the scenic hill country around Inle Lake. We had lunch at the hotel near the caves. This view shows the caves halfway up the hill behind the hotel. We then visited the 490-foot deep caves where we found over 9,000 carved and painted images of the Buddha, some apparently dating back over 2,000 years. The view from the entrance to the caves was awesome. Our bus stopped for this picture opportunity. At a paper-making shop, this boy is pounding mulberry bark into mush for the paper-making process. The bark mush is then placed in a large tray, which has a big canvas frame on the bottom. After a few minutes, the bark fibers settle onto the canvas frame, which is slowly lifted out of the tray and left to dry. The paper is used in the making of umbrellas. Next to the paper making shop is the umbrella factory. All the processes are done by hand. During our afternoon drive, we stopped to watch local farmers as they harvested their wheat crop, thrashing it by hand. We then continued to the former British hill station of Calaw. The British built these stations or towns in the cooler hills to help them avoid the hot summers. We were surprised to be welcomed by the staff playing traditional local instruments when we got off the coach. The hilltop villa lived up to its name, offering bungalows that provided dramatic views over the town below and the surrounding hills. We all enjoyed the cool, clean air found at these heights, almost 5,000 feet above sea level. This morning we enjoyed driving through picturesque countryside, stopping en route when we found farmers transferring their ginger crops from traditional carts to pickup trucks for the journey to the local market. We stopped to visit a thriving local market, complete with Pa-O people, who still wear their traditional dress. The market offered glimpses into local life. At Yang Shore Town, we transferred to longboats, each holding 5 members for our exploration of Inla Lake, an area noted for its floating gardens, village life on and by the lake, and the lifestyles of the Intha people, who migrated here in the 14th century. Finding no land on which to settle, as other tribes had already claimed all the best land on shore, they established their homes on the water, creating floating islands made of reeds and grass. The men are noted for the unique way that they paddle with their legs. The fishermen use these long conical nets to trap fish. When they see bubbles in the water, they drop the net and use a long spear through a hole in the top to stab the fish. They may only catch 2 fish a day. We stopped for lunch at Anne's restaurant. This was an interesting channel marker with a rooster on top. We are going to dock at the Nha Pe Chong Monastery, famous for its jumping cats. The monastery has a number of cats that are trained to jump over a horizontal stick that the monk holds. Back on the canal, we passed this moored royal barge. The Phang Da U temple has 5 images of the Buddha completely enclosed in gold leaf. Our final stop was to see a cheroot, meaning cigar, factory.